What is up, guys? Welcome back. I wanted to bring you guys a video that's not a fishing report. There's been a lot of talk about Clear Lake lately, algae, a bunch of stuff in the media about, algae and then fish die-offs and just all this stuff, right? And I wanted to talk to you guys, my opinion on it and clear some stuff up, because I study this stuff. A lot of independent research. I may not have a degree in it, but I'm definitely well-rounded in a lot of independent research from credible sources, not just Wikipedia, right? So I am pretty much daily looking at stuff and reading a lot about fish species, different chemicals they're using on spraying grass or whatever they're doing, and trying to, put all the pieces of the puzzle together to help me, get an idea of what hurts fish and what helps fish and what helps the lake in general and all that stuff, right? And so I want to clear some stuff up. If you guys haven't seen, you go over to Bob Tyler's YouTube, or maybe Ross has talked about it. Some of the guys that are doing some information on Clear Lake, they have been showing, at least Bob has, the fish die-off in the Keys, right? Been talking a lot about it, talking a lot about the fish dying off in Cache Creek as well, things like that. And I wanted to bring you guys my opinion on the matter. Now, this is just my opinion, and I don't want you guys, you guys can drop a comment below, whatever, we can talk about it. But this is my take on the matter. A fish die-off on Clear Lake is fairly normal. I've been fishing the lake since 2014, so I haven't been on the lake my whole life. So this is my experience on the matter. What I've seen is that fish die on Clear Lake quite a bit in this time of year, especially when water temperatures start to get in that 75, 80 degree range. They start to skyrocket, especially when these 100-degree days come in and all this stuff. We see fish dying off in stagnant water areas of the lake, especially areas with a lot of duckweed. And I think, believe it or not, duckweed is bad for a fishery. It blocks out the sun, and that's what allows for photosynthesis and all this stuff for aquatic vegetation. So it's not helping things either, right? But this is a multifaceted issue, guys. Low oxygen is what causes these fish to die. The oxygen depletion in these areas are causing fish pretty much to suffocate, right? If they don't leave, right? They need to leave, but sometimes they can't get far enough before they die, right? So areas like the Keys, Cache Creek, but Cache Creek is kind of a weird one because it kind of has some flow, so it shouldn't have a lot of oxygen depletion. So I think it's usually more towards the mouth of Cache Creek. It's more connected to the lake. But that's just my opinion on the matter. Now, like I said, it's all about oxygen depletion, and it's multifaceted, right? So there's, a lot of times it's stagnant water, whether boats are coming through or not, you'll still see fish dying off, but boats actually help the deal, right? Stirring up that water, diffusing some of that oxygen from the air around into the water will actually help, get the oxygen saturation up in the water. You can get little sensors and stuff like that. You can dip a little sensor in the water, they sell them on Amazon and stuff, to read the oxygen level in the area that you're fishing. So if you really want to know if it's dead water or not, get one of those suckers on Amazon. Now, let's talk about what the state's doing, or the county's doing, right? They are spraying certain chemicals. It's usually, there's a few different chemicals out there. The Delta people use a lot of Enthadol and Fluoridine or whatever. I can't quite pronounce them exactly, right? But that's pretty much what they are. And it's, believe it or not, it's not dangerous to the fish or people. Now, that's what I want to clear up. The fishermen are, believe it or not, fishermen love to talk and they love to be dramatic. And that chemical, not saying it's good for the fish or the people, but I'm not saying it's bad either. It doesn't necessarily cause burns on skin and all this crap that fishermen like to talk. What it does do is kill the grass. And that's what it's designed to do. And this is just my opinion on things, guys, so you can argue with me all you want in the comments. And I'm not defending the state by any means. But it kills the grass in these areas. And when grass dies or is being killed by a chemical, it's going to stop producing oxygen very quickly. And that is going to cause the oxygen levels in that area to deplete. And then you'll start to see first small organisms will start to struggle to survive, right? Whether it's small silverside minnows, shad. Shad are very susceptible to it. Bluegill, small bluegill, and then small crappie usually are what you're going to start to see die off first. Now that is alarming, but it's not as alarming as when you start to see big fish species like catfish, carp, and bass. Believe it or not, bass and carp are very good at surviving in low oxygen environments for some reason. I mean, that's why bass are like, they can survive in just mud holes, you know what I mean? They're just really resilient fish. Now when you start seeing those dead, that's where it gets a little alarming, but in small numbers, not as alarmed. It's when I start seeing fields of dead fish. That's when it gets scary, guys. Like 2017, that was a bad year down by in Redbud and all that stuff. That was really bad. So I haven't seen any of that yet. I've been all over the lake too. I haven't been in the Keys much, but that's just because I've been seeing Bob Tyler stuff. He's got that area covered. But I've been down by Cache. I've seen what's going on. There is dead fish, and it's like I said, there's a normal amount of dead fish from like carp spawning and stuff. That you'll see some of that dead carp stuff. But when you start seeing everything in an area like bluegill, carp, crappie, bass, catfish, all that just dead on the bank, that's an oxygen die-off thing. That's an oxygen depletion deal right there. So that's where it gets alarming. Now, whether you believe the state's right or wrong on this, that's your opinion. I'll tell you my opinion on it. I think the state's stupid for spraying, and as much as I say a chemical is not harmful to anything, what I do know is it's harmful to the grass. And when you kill the grass, especially in hot environments like the last week with 100-degree weather and water temps skyrocketing, what do you expect? And then you got duckweed and algae blocking the sunlight. That is a recipe for a low oxygen deal, right? Now, if the state was smart, it would go back to mechanical harvesting. What it does is it harvests the invasive species that they're trying to get rid of, but it also diffuses oxygen into the water from all the paddles and stuff like that, and a lot of boat movement. But guess what? It's freaking expensive. So California's broke. Everybody's broke because California's made everybody broke. And welcome to the America we live in, right? So you can either fight it, you be my